suspect!
Coming to get you, Bobber.
Hi guys, my name's Barry and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at the best characters from Halloween Kills. Now the reason I'm doing this video is because we've had many legacy characters return, which is great, and we've also got some new characters brought into the Halloween franchise as well. So I thought it might be best to explore these characters. Now this isn't going to be a top 5 or a top 10 from worst to best. Nothing like that. I'm just going to mention some of the best characters in this movie, some of the characters that I enjoyed in this movie, and I'll give you some reasons why. I'll quickly talk about Big John and Little John. Now they weren't my favourite characters, but I think we have to give them a shout out because everybody hated, or not everyone, but a lot of people hated the comedy aspect in Halloween 2018. I didn't mind it, but most people, or a lot of people, didn't like it, and they hoped that we wouldn't have the comedy in Halloween Kills. Unfortunately for them, we did have the comedy, but that comedy came with Big John and Little John, and I actually enjoyed Big John and Little John's performances. They weren't in your face, they were fantastic. I just think they were overall fun to watch because they were bouncing off of each other, especially with the Big John, Little John, that kind of monologue, or sorry, the dialogue that we got throughout their scenes that they got. Obviously their deaths were brutal and creative as well, so I think that they were a welcome addition. Obviously they were throwaway characters because they came and went with a whimper, but they were still fun to watch. The sexy nurse was back from Halloween 2018. This time she had a name. Her name was Vanessa, and she was played by Carmela McNeil, and I think she was fantastic. Now I think Marcus was good as well, and I'll give him a little mention, but I think Vanessa stole the show for me because she was very charismatic. Everything about her was great. I thought she was going to be another throwaway character. Yes, she did die in the movie, but she had a lot of lines, she had a lot of purpose as well, and she had some memorable scenes. Obviously her death was very memorable. She was in the car when she thought it was Michael in the back seat. A lot of what she'd done was the driving force throughout this movie. If it wasn't for her character, then we wouldn't be chasing Tivoli, the crazy man, to the hospital, and he probably wouldn't have killed himself. So we can kind of thank Vanessa for that. Thank you for that, Carmela. But I just think she had a massive purpose in this movie, a bigger purpose than I thought she would have, and she completely stole the show at times. Let's talk about Cameron, because I did mention before that I absolutely loved Cameron. I think his arc as a character had the biggest arc for me, because he went from being this whiny little boyfriend to people thought he was cheating, I didn't, to this kind of hero that tried to protect Allison. Obviously he failed, but he was still a character that I loved. I think thanks to him, and I'll mention the next person I'm going to talk about as well, Lonnie. The interactions between Cameron and Lonnie wasn't enough for me, but the interactions that they had were very genuine, and I love both characters, especially together. Lonnie and Cameron met their death, and I didn't want them to die because I love both characters. I think Lonnie was very realistic. I think Lonnie portrayed a Lonnie Elam that I would have portrayed, or in my mind would have thought about Lonnie in real life. So I just think Robert Longstreet, who played Lonnie perfectly in my eyes. And Cameron again redeemed himself massively. And going back to Cameron, I don't think he had to redeem himself. There was this hot girl from 2018, the movie, who kissed Cameron, and he pulled away and he went to say, "Oh Laurie, I didn't mean it." Laurie? That would be awful. He went to Allison and said, "I didn't mean it." And before he could explain himself, she ran away in a huff. It's understandable, but look at it from Cameron's point of view. Although he done something wrong, he wasn't evil, but again he redeemed himself. If you thought he had to redeem himself, I'm sure he did by the end of Halloween Kills. Next up we've got Allison. Now I did like Allison in Halloween 2018, but I think she was overshadowed by Laurie Strode. And I think the good thing about this one is Laurie took a back seat, so it gave characters like Allison the time to shine, and by God, she shined indeed. And when she had to perform and act, she was amazing. When Lonnie was talking about her dad, about the good old times, you could see it in her eyes, she broke down. As a character, she broke down. But I can imagine a bit of that went into real life with the real life actress, Andy. I think she was great as Allison. Notice that I didn't say her last name because I butcher her last name. Andy Matichik. I'm sorry, Andy. but she was great as Allison. I think the best scene with her was when she fell down the stairs and broke her leg, and that looked really sore. And when she was trying to stop Michael from killing Cameron, she just looked so fearful that I thought, wow, she is fantastic in this movie. Last, we're going to give a mention to Michael Myers. I think it goes without saying that Michael Myers was front and centre in this film. He was one of the best characters in this, as he should be. When you do like a top 5 or top whatever characters in Halloween movies, sometimes you don't even get Michael on the list because people forget about mentioning Michael Myers. In this one, I don't think you'll ever forget Michael Myers. He's probably one of the best incarnations you'll ever see, one of the most brutal incarnations you'll ever see of Michael Myers, and I think James Jude Corney blew it out of the park. He was incredible in this film. When he had the mask off as well, the emotionless face that you could see sometimes was great. So whether he had the mask on or off, he just blew me away. I think Michael was amazing. He didn't do a lot of stalking, he didn't do a lot of background standing around, but that wasn't his fault. That was down to the way the movie was shot by David Gordon Green. But anytime Michael was on screen, whether it be in the flashbacks, which again is thanks to Aaron Armstrong, whether it be in 2018, which is thanks to James Jude Courtney, and a little cameo from Nick Castle, which I believe might have been cut from the movie. I still don't know which part was Nick Castle, and if you know, guys, leave me, don't leave me. Let me know down below if you know which part was Nick Castle, or was his part deleted, I just don't know. But all three of them throughout the first 2 movies in the David Gordon Green franchise were spectacular. So guys, that is the best characters in Halloween Kills for me. Some of you may agree, some of you of course will disagree with me, but leave your list down below. Let me know a few characters that you think were the best characters, and let me know some characters that you think maybe redeemed themselves in the franchise. I know that some people really liked Lindsay. I liked Lindsay, but I don't think I saw enough of her to put her on the best characters list of the movie. But again guys, let me know down below, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.